Hello, BookTube. I have a couple of books here, a small mail haul that I want to try to get done in under 20 minutes. But first, I'm under strict orders for about 200 people to show you my little Fraulein. I had many people commenting that she's much bigger. She is. She's now a full-size little dog. I don't know yet. She's about, I think, 5 months old. So I don't know yet if this is as big as she's going to get. I've seen and met miniature schnauzers that are twice this size. So I don't know if there's a large dimorphism between genders, or if there are miniature schnauzers and then there are really miniature schnauzers. I have no idea. I've never had a miniature schnauzer before. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if she gets much bigger than this. She's plenty big enough now. So there you go. There is the little Fraulein. Now I'm gonna put you on the bed. And I'm going to go about talking to these humans, if that's all right with you. Oh, you're so sweet. Here, there you go. All right. Now that we're done with that, sorry for the blushes, BookTube. I'm, I think, becoming somewhat besotted with my little dog. So anyway, we're going to move on. We have 2 book packages to go through here. So let's see what we have. This is the first one. Oh, great. Fantastic. Oh, great. Do we have any kind of... No, we don't have any kind of... Okay, this comes out in May. This is Figures in a Landscape by Paul Theroux, who I think is... I absolutely love him as a novelist, and I love him even more as a nonfiction writer. So this is great. This is fantastic. So this is it's a collection of his most recent, for pay nonfiction pieces. In the spirit of his much-loved Sunrise with Sea Monsters, much loved indeed. If you ever come across a copy of Sunrise with Sea Monsters, you should get it. You're going to love it. Paul Theroux's latest collection of essays leads the reader through the dazzling array of sights and characters and experiences as Theroux applies his signature searching curiosity to a life lived as much in reading as on the road. This writerly tour de force features a satisfyingly varied selection of topics and showcases Theroux's sheer versatility as a writer. Travel essays take us to Ecuador, Zimbabwe, and Hawaii, to name a few. Gems of literary criticism reveal fascinating depth in the work of Henry David Thoreau, Muriel Spark, Joseph Conrad, and Hunter Thompson. And in a series of breathtakingly personal profiles, we take a helicopter ride with Elizabeth Taylor, go diagnosing with Oliver Sacks, eavesdrop on the day-to-day life of a Manhattan dominatrix, and explore New York with Robin Williams. Great. Fantastic. How wonderful. Okay, so this is due in the spring. I'm going to hope... Well, I'm certainly going to write about it. I just don't know where. Great. All right. So one of our 2 books is just a home run. Something I'm going to love to read. I'm certainly going to read it before May. So let's see what this next one is. Okay, next one is something I did not request. So we got 1 for 1 there. It comes out in mid-February, so it's due real soon. I have to read it real soon, and it's a made-up story. It's a novel, The Invention of Anna, by Mikkel Rosengard, who is 17. And this is his debut novel. Good for him. Wonderful. It's been published in 5 languages. How wonderful. Oh, his mother, who's probably 30, must be so proud. He's a 2-time recipient of the Danish Arts Foundation's Literary Fellowship, and his work has appeared in the Architectural Review, PBS's Art 21, Hyperallergic, and many other publications. Okay, that's fairly eclectic. I wonder if it betokens a specialty of his that isn't fiction. How do you get an architectural review if you're writing a debut novel? You must write about other things. He grew up in Elsinore. He grew up in Elsinore, Denmark. And he lives in New York City. Well, okay. In 2018, he is certainly the first author I have read who grew up in Elsinore. So, okay. So what do we got here? Although I guarantee you that he doesn't live. He lives in Brooklyn. He lives in greater New York City. He doesn't live in Manhattan. He lives in Brooklyn. I guarantee it. I mean, let's look again. There you go. he doesn't live in Manhattan. But let's see. On a rooftop in Brooklyn, one spring night, a young intern and would-be writer, newly arrived from Copenhagen. Okay. All right. So it looks like we're grooving into the Write What You Know school here. Meets the intriguing artist and mathematician Anna Ivan. Clever and funny with an air of mystery and melancholia. That's melancholy, not melancholia. Anna is living like a prime number. Fierce and unbroken and divisible only by herself. Okay, so I'm suspecting our author wrote the cover copy. She's also bad luck, she confesses. She is from a cursed Romanian lineage. Before long, the intern finds himself seduced by Anna's enthralling stories of her unlucky countrymen, of her parents' romance during the worst years of Nicholas Ceausescu's dictatorship, of a daylight savings transition gone horribly wrong. And Anna also introduces him to her latest artistic endeavor. Following the astronomical rather than the Gregorian calendar, she is trying to alter her sense of time, an experiment that will lead her to live in complete darkness for 1 month. Descending into blackness with Anna, the intern slowly loses touch with his own existence, entangling himself in the lives of Anna, her starry-eyed mother Maria, her obsessive math prodigy father Cyprian. Peeling back the layers of Anna's past, he eventually discovers the perverse tragedy that has haunted her family for decades and has shaped her journey from the streets of Bucharest to the Atlas Mountains of Morocco and finally to New York City. The invention of Anna blurs the lines between narrative and memory. I'll say. I'll say it does. Yes. Because somewhere in Brooklyn right now, a young woman is going from coffee house to coffee house saying, yeah, I'm Anna. In his stunning debut novel, Mikhail Rosengard from Elsinore illuminates the profound power of stories to alter the world around us and the lives of the ones we love. Okay. All right, from that description, it doesn't sound like her stories alter him at all. It sounds like he's just moving, packing up his bags and moving lock, stock, and barrel into her world, which is not what. It's the opposite of that. But let's go to page 112 and see what we can see. Since we have the time, let's see. We go to page 112 now, thanks to Sean the Book Maniac, who created the page 112 tag, in which we judge books by page 112 so that we get past the part that has been picked over with a fine-tooth comb by every single ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, and ex-English teacher. And we get to the real meat of the thing. So let's see here. As they were walking home that afternoon, Soren asked her if she'd ever wanted to. What, apply? Yeah, man, they're crazy about you. There are no quotation marks here. Just in case you're wondering. The author was too cool for school and the picture didn't do it for you. There are no quotation marks about in the dialogue. So I'm guessing that it's dialogue. I don't know. This could all be one fevered internal monologue. I don't have any idea. Orthography is not a place to stake your intellectual identity on. Okay? Orthography is just orthography. Punctuation is just punctuation. It doesn't care about you. Nobody cares about it. It's not the place to create your identity. You want your prose to do that. Why doesn't this have quotation marks? If I were to sit him down and wait until he finished fussing with his hair in Brooklyn, outside, of course, because he's a 10-pack-a-day tobacco addict, and asked him, okay, why doesn't the dialogue in your book have quotation marks around it? God only knows what his answer would be. Anyway, we're going to assume this is dialogue between two people. But I'm not an artist. I'm a mathematician. My whole family are mathematicians. What would I make art about? I don't know. Do like the rest of us. Scratch around in the trauma. Dive into the muck. But Soren, I've already done that. Then you'd better dive deeper. Go further into the grime. All the way down to your family demons. Soren, listen to what I'm telling you. I've already done that. I know everything about my dad. Okay, he said. He said? How do I know he said it? There are no quotation marks. Okay, he said. What about your mom? They continued down the bare street, putting trees and alleyways behind them, while Soren talked about his own mother, her alcoholism and loneliness, which he'd been so ashamed of when he was a boy. Anna said nothing. For as long as Soren could remember her, for as long as Soren could remember, he said, he'd been a mommy's boy, a shivering homosexual nervous wreck. But what had been a weakness at school was the reverse at the art academy. There it was better to be a reject, a gypsy, or a homosexual. There you fit in if you had a diagnosis, if you were a little unhinged around the edges, a little borderline maybe. You've got to have chaos inside you to give birth to a dancing star, said Soren. Know what I mean? Unbelievably, that quote is already turned up on this channel from our old friend and syphilitic moron, Nietzsche. Anna could hardly hear him above the traffic, but she nodded anyway. There were no shadows on the boulevard, and the heat thudded upward from the molten asphalt. But oddly, it seemed like Soren was enjoying the walk. Okay, that's page 112. Oddly, Soren seems like the type who would mention that he's quoting Nietzsche, and he doesn't. And the author doesn't either. And Anna doesn't recognize it as coming from Nietzsche. The quote just sits there without... On this page alone, I don't know what happens in the rest of the book. I will find out. But on this page alone, you'd never know that Soren didn't think that up on his own. But I have to say, despite the fact that it has no quotation marks, and despite the fact that it seems like it's Brooklyn fiction, I kind of liked it. Did you? I kind of liked it. It has a kind of fluidity, a kind of directness that I liked. That's on page 112. Okay, so Soren is convincing her to not use creativity, to just dig into her own trauma. And that is addressed so openly, so directly, that I kind of admire it. Okay, all right. Well, I would certainly, a debut novel, I would certainly read it anyway. I love debut novels. I love the feeling of, the fresh page, what could be the start of an incredible career. You never know. What could be the only book we ever get. I just think that's all fascinating. So I would certainly have read this anyway, but now it's due in the middle of the month. It's a requisite ugly American cover, but it's The Invention of Anna by Mikhail Rosengard, who has certainly intrigued me enough to start at page 1 like a normal schmo and read the whole thing. So that's our mail haul. We've got The Invention of Anna, a debut novel, and we've got Figures in a Landscape by Paul Theroux, who wrote his debut novel probably 40 years ago, if not more than that. And you had a little Frida, who has been spending the intervening time while I've been talking to you destroying a publicity sheet. Because that's what she does. But anyway, I'm going to get back to nuzzling faces with her, and I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.